Hi, welcome again. In this video, we are going to discuss about the definite loops and the indefinite loops. Suppose if we have a program, then if we can inspect the code and determine the exact number of iterations the loop will perform, then such type of loops are known as the definite loops. If we cannot inspect the code and determine the exact number of iterations the loop will perform, such type of loops are known as indefinite loops. For example, here so look at the program here, a very simple example for definite loop. So here we are counting the numbers and printing from 1 to 10, okay, with the initial value n is equal to 1, and while n is less than or equal to 10, print n and then increment n by 1 at each iteration. Okay, if we run this code, we are getting the output as the integer values from 1 to 10. So here we can inspect the code and determine the exact number of iterations the loop will perform. So this type of loop is known as a definite loop, since we can predict exactly how many times the loop repeats. Okay, so consider example 2. So here, instead of using the final value as 10, here we are using stop as the final value. Okay, so for that we are getting the value or the number from the user. So initially we are initializing n is equal to 1, and we are getting the value from the user to print the numbers from 1 to up to the value entered by the user. Okay, and then we are incrementing the value by 1 at each iteration. So let us run this code. Let us enter, for example, 10 here. So we got 10 digits, okay, from 1 to 10. Let us run once again, and this time I would like to enter 20. So look at here, we got 20 as per the user input. So here, just by looking at the code, we cannot predict how many times the loop will repeat. So here the logic is the number of iterations depend on the input provided by the user. However, at the program's point of execution, after obtaining the user's input here and before the start of the execution of the loop, we would be able to determine the number of iterations the loop will perform. Okay, so because of this, the loop is considered to be a definite loop as well. Okay, so this loop is also considered as a definite loop because we can able to determine how many times the loop will repeat based on the user input. So let us look at the one more example for indefinite loop. So here we cannot predict how many times the loop will iterate. So because here in the program we are expecting the user to enter exactly 999. If the user does not enter exactly the value 999, then the loop will keep on iterating itself. Okay, so let us look at the logic. Initially we are making the while loop as true, so done is equal to false, not false is nothing but true. We know that not will reverse the boolean expression, so not done is nothing but true, and then we are getting the value from the user. If entry is equal to 999, if entry is equal to 999, only then make the control variable done as true, otherwise print the entry. So if the user enters the value 999, only then this if condition becomes true and the control variable done will be assigned the boolean expression true, so which in turns returns the done to here true. So when done becomes true, not true becomes false. So when the condition becomes false, loop will terminate, otherwise it will keep on printing the entry. Okay, whatever may be the value entered by the user. Let us run this code. So let us enter, for example, 800. So look at here, I have entered 800. Initially the loop is true. Okay, the condition of the loop is true, and then we are getting the number from the user. Entry, I have entered 800. 800 is not equal to 999, so this condition becomes false. So when the if condition becomes false, body of the if statement will not be evaluated, so it will move to the else part of the if else control flow. The else part will print the value entered by the user, here in our case 800. Let us run this code once again and enter some other value. For example, here 998. Okay, 998, 998. So still it won't match us. Let us run the code and enter exactly 999. So loop got terminated, right? So here we don't know when the user enters the exact value 999. So here the user can initially enter 0, or he or she may enter 999 immediately after running the code. So if they won't enter the exact value immediately, and if they keep on entering the number which is other than 999, the loop will keep on repeating itself. So this type of loop is nothing but an indefinite loop. So the while loop statement or while loop is ideal for indefinite loops. Although we have used the while statement to implement definite loops, Python provides better alternative for definite loops like this. So the alternative is nothing but the for loop or the for statement.